The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Stephen McCranie. My friends, practice, 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 no matter how long it takes. Dedicate yourself. All we ask is 10 to 15 minutes a day. And that adds up to be so valuable over time. You can't cram for this. This is not like high school or college or graduate school. This is real life. This is real experience, and it will only happen if you make it happen. Nobody is going to be checking up. Nobody's going to be pushing you to do your homework. It's all up to you. You can either succeed or fail, and it's on your shoulders. Where you are right now in life is based on the choices you made, and where you are in the future is based on the choices you make going forward. If your life sucks right now, fix it. Nobody is coming to rescue you. There is no cavalry. That is you. The bugle you hear should be your own because there's not going to be another one. Okay, friends, let's jump into this. Stocks are mixed for the day. Bonds are down. Gold is up. Bitcoin moving down again, 3.15% first. Let's jump into the S&P 500, down 0.09%. Thought there might be a bit of a swing back after what we saw happen. And I don't know, I know what that is. We'll get to that in a second. I saw another vertical line next to the 2-day going, what is going on? I think we're going to see, yes, we'll see when we get there. So let's look at the weekly. Big hammer down, red candle heading down. Of course, that is beautiful. Why? Because we were in a short position after that weekly vertical cross. Well, the weekly is a long old weekly vertical crossover way, way back after a lot of up movement, but it's that 2-day recross. And of course, we see the price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillators gone negative last week and then accelerated this week, 2 days into a 5-day candle. This is what I was talking about. This is the 2-day recross. And of course, we've just seen it accelerate heading down. Price percent oscillator, derivative oscillator dropping off the deep end. Beautiful. That is exactly what we want to see in a short position. Either in something like what? What is the inverse fund? Single inverse fund, not to get carried away. The single inverse fund is beautiful. And of course, that is SH, the ProShares short S&P 500. There's plenty of short funds. But again, we're not going to get crazy in practicing these and doing the triple shorts and that kind of stuff. But something for you to look at. Of course, if you are a Patreon member and you've taken our 3-part series Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, then of course, hopefully you were practicing what? A put position when we had that 2-day recross. Now, let's look at the half day. We saw where things accelerated down and really hammered down on Monday. On Tuesday, as we suspected, it slowed down up a little bit in the morning and rolling over in the afternoon. So, like we said, down 0.09%. So a slowdown from that big drop yesterday, but that price percent oscillator, derivative oscillators flat, price percent oscillator headed down. Beautiful. Keep your eye on the charts, particularly the 2-day and the weekly. What about the Nasdaq 100? Well, we had the weekly vertical crossover that occurred at the end of this last week. We have a nice red down candle that's forming. Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillator negative. 2-day, you can see a little more of what's been happening. We had that 2-day crossover, not a recross because the weekly at that time was up, but it led the way for the weekly vertical crossover. That happened on Monday the 13th, and then of course on Friday the 17th of September. For both those dates, we saw the weekly vertical crossover, and then that hammer down on Monday, a little swing back up 0.12% on Tuesday. Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillator hammering down. Big red down candle. And of course, similar to the S&P, you can see where things slowed down over the course of Tuesday. But that price percent oscillator still heading down. Derivative oscillator about flat. Keep your eye on the prize on both of these stock indexes, particularly looking at the 2-day and the weekly. Intraday's helpful just to sort of give you a heads up as to what's going on. What's up with bonds? Well, bonds are still in a confirmed up move on that weekly. We go all the way back to that weekly vertical crossover all the way back in April, end of April, April 30, Friday, April 30. Things then went down for 2 weeks and have been going up mostly till we popped and topped back on the week ending the 23rd of July, and then it's sort of a sideways up and down since then. Over the last 2 weeks, trying to move up some, we never had the weekly crossover going down. That derivative oscillator's gotten awfully thin, but again, this week, starting off with some up movement on Monday, pairing that off a little bit. When I say a little bit, 0.09, that's a little bit, a little bit down. But we'll keep an eye on things, see where they go. We look at the 2-day, and this is what we're paying close attention to. If over Wednesday and Thursday, remember we just finished drawing this 2-day chart, so Wednesday and Thursday could make a difference. If bonds really start gaining a lot of energy, the price percent oscillators getting close to crossing over, derivative oscillators already positive, might have a 2-day recross moving in the same direction as the weekly. And of course, if you see this 2-day price chart push up above that weekly trend line, another good sign. So mark your show notes. That would be your daily market worksheet for looking for a possible 2-day recross on Thursday. You might say, what happens if it crosses over on Wednesday? Candle's not drawn until the candle finishes. A 2-day candle is 2 days. That for where it is right now, with it just ending on Tuesday, that'd be Wednesday and Thursday, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Okay, let's look at the half day. We can see where things popped up on Monday and shaved off those gains. Some on Tuesday. Price percent oscillator still going up. Derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. For our last big 4 charts, let's take a look at gold, up 0.67%. But of course, we look at the weekly, and we had that weekly chart move back over going down after popping up. And you know what I did? I never changed that. So we are changing that now. Let me get that over there. I just didn't get around to it. We announced it was probably going to happen, and then we watched it happen. We talked about it yesterday. I didn't change it, but that's as easy as it is to change things. That's what's so brilliant about TC2000. If you look in your show notes, you'll see a discount for subscribing for the paid version of freestockcharts.com. You'll also see there the same chart layout that we use here every day is available to you. Just cut and paste if you subscribe. So what can you bet? $25 off and free charts? You can't beat it with a hammer. Now, what do we see going on? Well, we see gold is, of course, still trundling down. We've seen that angle on the price percent oscillator leveling off. Derivative oscillator still gaining downward momentum. Check out the 2-day. You know, one 2-day candle doesn't change everything. In fact, it's a solid green spinning top, which means indecision. But again, remember that solid green is just a slowdown in the down movement. That price percent oscillator still going down. Derivative oscillator still going down on the 2-day chart. What about the half day? Well, we've got 2 days of nice up movement, crossed over going up at the end of the day. That's why we moved this trend line over. You can see where it's bisecting the 2-day. We'll see if gold continues to go up. So won't gold go up. And if the markets keep crashing, who knows? Maybe it will. That's where we are. Now let's look at Bitcoin for all you crypto enthusiasts. Down 3.15%. I finally gave in and decided to draw you some trend lines and weekly and 2-day crossovers. Boom, there you go. You can see where that weekly vertical crossover occurred. And of course, when it was broken, that trend line was broken, where you had that red spinning top and things started falling off. Derivative oscillator peaked and then boom. The end was nigh, and we see, again, down for the day 3.15%, yesterday at like 7%. So again, not so hot. We go to the 2-day. What do we see there? Well, that 2-day crossed over. And I don't know why I have the 2-day line there. It should be here. The 2-day crossed over going down back on the 13th. Of course, it slid sideways up a little bit, and then this last 2-day candle, you can see where that price percent oscillator like a hockey stick hammers over going down. Derivative oscillator for 8 days has been gaining downward momentum. Half day, you can see 2 days of strong down movement in Bitcoin after it was trying to gain a little bit and then just rolled over, hammering down. So that weekly is weak. And of course, that 2-day, when you see those crossovers, people, they mean something. They take you out of a trade. The 2-day pulls you out if you're still in. Now, I'm not saying there's a good reason to be in, but I'm saying that's your idiot. That's your idiot bell right there. Okay, that is where we are as we end the day. Thank you so much for the Patreon supporters. If you want those benefits, our $100 Patreon membership is full, but we do have a few slots left since I opened some up for the $30 a month. If you're interested in all the great benefits that we give here, and there's a lot. There is all those special trainings, particularly the Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. I think the best options training you can get to really start learning hardcore how to make it work with options. I want you to practice trade those as long as you need to. That's available for free, along with what else? Well, that monthly live question and answer session where we answer your questions and go over the stocks and ETFs you want us to help you backtrack so you can practice trade those. And of course, every week, it'll be happening on Thursday. We will be sending out what? That will be the 20 weekly vertical crossovers that we identify on the S&P 500 chart for you to potentially practice trade a few of them, the best ones, and learn by doing. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.